If you've ever wanted to be a tree after you die, now in Washington state, you can. Right now, 2 places in our state are offering human composting, a type of green burial. We're the first state in the country to legalize natural organic reduction. Our Action News photographer Victor Park and I took a drive to show you how this process works and why some are choosing this alternative in a special story, Human Composting Sprouting Life After Death.
Our focus is on converting human remains into trees.
We've all heard ashes to ashes or dust to dust, but how about instead of dust, it's earth-friendly, compost-rich soil? Sounds kind of crazy, right? That far-out concept is actually taking place right here in Herland Forest, a not-for-profit natural burial cemetery.
What we're doing here is essentially traditional burial.
Tucked away in this forest in south central Washington, the first facility licensed in our state to do human composting.
Kind of an alarming term to some people, so can you explain to people that are unfamiliar with it what it means?
It has to do with the reduction of a human body. We can take those remains and convert them down to soil, have it then go back to the family, and then they can use it for growing fruit trees and roses and whatever they want.
Walt has over 30 years experience transforming the remains of large farm animals into nutrient-rich soil. Now he's using that experience to reduce human remains. This is Walt laying inside of the cradle, and this is where the body begins its journey. Once the body is in place, the cradle is sealed. The next step, heating it up slowly, using solar panels and heat tape inside a probe to track the temperature. Back in December, Walt put the first remains in that cradle.
So we have a tarp over the cradle there.
And one of the parts of the process is making sure to rotate this cradle about once a week. So I'm going to remove this wood block that is holding this 1-ton cradle in place. And I have these straps to help make it easier. So the cradle is coming, rotating towards me.
This step is important to oxygenate the materials inside and to reduce any methane gases produced. The end result, 4 55-gallon drums of soil. The time frame? It depends.
When somebody dies in the winter, it's going to be slower than if they die in the summer.
The target is 2 months. Now that you've seen how, we wanted to ask why. For starters, if you wanted to be buried, let's say in your backyard, next to your pet, this is the way to do it.
And the only way legally you can do that in the state of Washington is by reduction.
This alternative is also much cheaper than most commercial funerals or even cremation. It's also better for the environment, leaving less of a carbon footprint and creating less pollution in the air.
Spreading your loved one's ashes on top of a mountain or something. So this is, kind of that same idea of going back into nature, but this is actually like beneficial.
Now, cremation is a challenge in the sense that all of the biological parts of the body are lost in the process, and what you have left is the minerals.
There's also the issue of running out of commercial cemetery space, and for Washington, it's scarce. The option to recompose a body is certainly not for everyone.
This is new and this is different and it's going to take time.
But for others, it's a way to give back to the earth once you go instead of continuing to take.
Most people don't know that the green burial and the various forms of it are available.
Taking a little bit of life out of the midst of death.
And Walt says they're currently constructing a second cradle, and a third location offering this kind of green burial will be opening in Auburn this April. Other states considering human composting right now include Colorado, California, and New York.